All right, here we go. The 2024 NFL Draft is officially complete, and coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, the much-anticipated Eagles 2024 NFL Draft grades. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for supporting us all throughout the draft. Our coverage I thought was spectacular. I hope you thought the same, and I'm really excited to take a look at this Eagles draft class because I think Howie Roseman did a spectacular job. Let's set the table here by taking a look at all of the picks and all of the newest Eagles joining the Birds. Quinyon Mitchell, 22nd overall pick, cornerback out of Toledo, fell right into the Eagles' laps. So too did Cooper DeJean. Now, Philadelphia had to trade up for him, gave up 50 and 53, but they get a player with a first-round grade who is a multi-dimensional weapon and a Swiss Army knife, a cornerback safety hybrid out of Iowa at number 40. I was flummoxed by the pick of Jalyx Hunt. The edge rusher out of Houston Christian started his college career at Cornell as a safety. Certainly has a lot of bend and athleticism. More on him and all of these players coming up here in a moment. Backup running back Will Shipley out of Clemson, round 4, 127, an intriguing weapon for this Eagles offense and a third down player who I think could have a little bit of an impact for Philadelphia down the road behind Saquon. Ainias Smith, wide receiver, round 5, 152 out of Texas A&M. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Eagles keep it inside the family, going with the Axeman's son, bloodline, baby. Round 5, 155. They traded up for the stud linebacker out of Clemson, Trevor Keegan, offensive guard out of Michigan. Round 5, 172. A massive wide receiver in Johnny Wilson. Round 6, 185 out of Florida State. And then the Eagles go back to the offensive line. Dylan McMahon, round 6, 190. The center who can also play guard from NC State, a very good athlete. And we're going to continue to give you some great analysis on all of these selections here. If you look at the channel history, we have talked about all of these picks for Philadelphia. Now it's time for the grades. And the real ones know. I'm a huge fan of Quinyon Mitchell, and I'm a huge fan of this selection. I thought Philadelphia was going to have to trade up and matriculate up the draft board to get a cornerback of their liking. But because 6 quarterbacks went inside the top 12, that caused a lot of really quality players to slide down the draft board. And this was a record for the most offensive players taken consecutively to start off an NFL draft. So a lot of defensive players did not go until later. In fact, Quinyon Mitchell was the first corner selected. So the Eagles don't have to trade up to get the number 1 corner in this draft class, in my opinion. He falls right in the Eagles' laps, and he's everything that I look for in a corner. Good athlete, 4.3 speed, really good awareness, excellent pedal. He can turn his hips. He can stick with a variety of wide receivers, speedy and shorter, because he's fast. Also has the size, the length, the leaping ability to stick with some larger wide receivers. And you can tell that Quinyon Mitchell, throughout his football life, whether it be offseason or in his collegiate career at Toledo, he's been coached well, and he was asked at Toledo to be coached hard. When you watch his footwork, when you watch him reading the eyes of the quarterback, reading the eyes of the wide receiver, when you watch the acceleration and the deceleration, no wasted movements, no wasted steps. He's able to make a beat on the football because of the instincts, because of those recognition abilities, but because of him being a really good athlete. That's what you want in a lockdown cornerback in the National Football League. And he's been a pass breakup machine. 19 pass breakups in 2023, 24 pass breakups in 2022. So he consistently makes plays on the football. And if you want to talk about the character of a player, it matters. The mental makeup matters. When you play in the pressure cooker of Philadelphia, if you have a bad play, you need to be able to flush it, especially at the cornerback spot, because you will get beat. Quinyon Mitchell can do that. Playing in this city and at cornerback, you have to have tenacity, aggressiveness. You have to have swagger, as the Eagles like to call it, a dog mentality. Quinyon Mitchell, for me, checks off all of the boxes, from the nuances to his game, to the instincts and feel, to the athleticism, to the character, and everything that he's about as a football player. And you get him at 22 overall. Great value, really good player. I think he can be a stud, and it obviously fulfills a need for Philadelphia here with Darius Slay at 33, James Bradbury at 31, and the latter, he might be cooked. Then the Eagles go back to the secondary here with the 40th overall pick. And going into day 2, during day 2, when we're live, I had said on the air, if Philadelphia likes how the draft board is falling, they could package 50 and 53 to move up in the 40 range to get a player who they covet. Well, that player is Cooper DeJean. When I was at the NFL Scouting Combine, talked to some sources, and at that time, the Philadelphia Eagles were the only top 30 visit set for Cooper DeJean. They clearly had interest in the player right from the jump. And it's easy to see why. Excellent athlete, 4'4", 4'5", 40-yard dash speed. He is a Swiss Army knife. He is a chess piece, and he's a versatile weapon that Vic Fangio is going to be able to utilize on the defensive side of the football. He can play outside corner, slot corner, hybrid linebacker, and safety. I think he's a little bit better as a safety, and I like him there because he has the pursuit skills. He has the ball skills. 7 interceptions at Iowa, 3 went back for interceptions. He's also not afraid to lay his shoulder down, lay his helmet down, and run right through your ass. And he's just an athlete that makes your football team better, and you just got to find ways to put him in positions to succeed, which I think Vic Fangio is going to be able to do to maximize the player here. And the athleticism, it's been there for his entire upbringing. You go back, and some of the basketball highlights were going viral on social media, the vertical leaping ability, some concerns. What position is he? Is he a tweener? I don't care. Trent McDuffie, Tyrann Mathieu, use him like a Malcolm Jenkins, where he just lines up all around the field to make your defense better. Blitz packages off the edge. If he needs to play slot nickel, he can. Outside, safety, just get him on the football field because the man makes plays and also gives you return ability and special teams ability as a tackler. Him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they can really line up anywhere, interchangeable parts, and the Eagles now just remaking that secondary with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I like athletes. I like guys who love ball, who can ball out, and Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, they check that box. Make sure you subscribe to us here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. So much content on the channel from draft weekend, just going deep dive, analytics, analysis on all of these selections, a lot of opinions, instant reactions. We are live every single day, 6.5 hours night 1, 6 hours night 2, and then day 3, nearly 8 hours. It was a blast, and we're going to continue to give you the best Eagles coverage right here on YouTube. Hit that sub button. I want to welcome a brand new sponsor here at Chat Sports and on Philadelphia Eagles Now. It is Mando. And with Mando, I'm telling you, ditch the soap and step up to the plate like Bryce Harper. Knock it out of the park with Mando's whole body deodorant developed by a doctor. This game-changing formula is safe for your entire body, and it knocks out odor like a champ, or like Cooper DeJean running through a running back. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for up to 72 hours. Mando is available in solid sticks, invisible cream, body wash, cleaning bars, and deodorant wipes for on-the-go use. Come on now, don't let a foul smell ruin your game if you're out on a date, hanging with friends, or you're at work. You don't want your coworkers looking at you and saying, dude, what is that stank? You don't have to worry about that stank with Mando because you can keep your body odor in fair territory. It's whole body deodorant. Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, packages, grundle, balls, belly buttons, butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, and feet. Ew, Chase, I'm being honest. That's what I do. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, vegan, dye-free, cruelty-free, and doctor-developed. Skin-safe and based in science. And you can get $5 off the Mando Starter Pack if you use the code CHAT. And I just like the variety that Mando has to offer. The invisible cream deodorant, That's my favorite, Pro Sport. I can use it before and after workouts, but if I'm on the go, I can use the Mando deodorant wipes. Simple little wipe right beneath the arm. It's great. The scents are also really good. For instance, this one, bourbon leather. Oh, yeah. Go Mando and smell better naked or with clothes on. ShopMando.com, code CHAT, $5 off the starter pack. All of this information is available for you down in the show notes of this video. We continue to move forward with our draft grades here. Jalyx Hunt, round 3, 94 overall, edge rusher, was certainly a confusing selection for me. Now, he starts his career at Cornell, so obviously he's really smart, and he starts it as a safety. And credit to him, he's been able to really bulk up his frame over time, and he ended up turning into a really intriguing player with bend, burst, athleticism, and I think that he has a lot of potential to be a good player at the National Football League level. He goes to Houston Christian, he starts turning some heads. He had a really good NFL scouting combine. The point here being, though, with the C- grade is that he's a project. And I'm just not a fan of going with a project at 94 overall when I thought that there were some better players on the board. Now, credit to Daniel Jeremiah. Howie Roseman gave him a funny shout out. He wanted Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network, to delete his big board and take Jalyx Hunt off of it because he had him as a top 150, top 100 prospect. He didn't want the word to get out, Howie, that Jalyx Hunt was kind of this draft sleeper. So Philadelphia takes a chance here. I always like being aggressive, but I don't take chances on a project this early. I take chances on projects a little bit later, like a wide receiver who we're about to talk about. Will Shipley, round 4, 127. Going into the draft, I thought backup running back was a little bit of a sneaky need for Philadelphia. You have Saquon Barkley. It's great. 2-year, $26 million deal. $13 million per. That's pretty much what it is with the guaranteed money at play there. And Saquon is a special player, and he can impact the game in a variety of ways. Running in between the tackles, bouncing it out to the edge, getting out to the perimeter. He can catch balls out of the backfield, line up out of the slot. And he's a 3-down back who I think is going to be utilized a lot. And behind this offensive line with these weapons, he could put together a 2,000 all-purpose yard season and have a career year in Philadelphia, back in his home state, as he grew up in the Lehigh Valley area, and he went to Penn State. I'm excited about that. But you look ahead, right? Kenneth Gainwell, final year of his rookie deal. The Eagles depend on him as a pass catcher and as a pass blocker. Will Shipley is not a pass blocker. In fact, he really struggles with that. But as another weapon on this team, he's a multidimensional running back who is fluid and smooth. He can make guys miss. I like his patience. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, out of the slot. And if you find ways to get him the football, he's going to make things happen. And at Clemson, goes there under Dabo Swinney. 5-star recruit, produces a lot. Touchdown machine 2 years ago. Awesome numbers. Well over 1,000 rushing yards. This past year, also really good. And you need to have a good running back rotation. I thought the Eagles kind of lacked that last year. There was also no rhythm to it. And Will Shipley now moving ahead, I think he's going to be adding another depth piece and a quality weapon to this Eagles offense. So I give it a B grade. Ainias Smith, round 5, 152. C grade for me. You had players on the board here in Malik Washington and Brendan Rice, who I thought were a little bit better. At Texas A&M, Ainias Smith, a fun player, but he's like 5'9", 5'10", and he ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. So when you're smaller, I want to see you be a little bit quicker. He is shifty, and he can make guys miss in a phone booth, and he's really fun to watch in that way because he'll hit you with a couple of jukes, and he can make a big play happen. Shorter arms, though, very good at tracking the ball. That is certainly a plus trait for him, but the shorter arms, you got to be accurate with it. And I just thought you could have gone with the better, more proven wide receiver with some more athletic traits here. He does have returnability as a punt returner and a kick returner. He can make the team and have that type of role from the jump. I know you have Britton Covey, one of the best punt returners in the NFL, but kick returner last year with the new rules too. I think if you get a weapon there, that could be a sneaky little upgrade there if Ainias Smith can fulfill that role. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I'm going to give this grade a B. And a B because I love the value here. Round 5, 155. Athletic testing numbers were not there, right? But the last 2 years, he's had 13 plus TFLs. He can sack the quarterback, instincts and feel, and it's also a really fun story. And the Eagles did not just draft Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because his pops, the Axeman, who was a 2-time All-Pro in the early 2000s for Philadelphia under legendary defensive coordinator Jim Johnson, under Andy Reid, was a great player for this organization. They drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because they liked the player. They moved up to get him. And it's cool that the Axeman, Trotter Sr., cried after the Eagles selected his son, who went to St. Joe's Prep and grew up in the Philadelphia area. But Vic Fangio has a history of coaching the linebacker spot as a linebackers coach. Now that he's DC, he's developed and helped maximize linebackers. I think he can do that with Trotter. Again, a little bit small, can struggle in coverage from time to time, but sometimes the athletic testing numbers and the lack of twitch or physicality, you can make up for the lack of that with really good instincts, diagnosing skills, and play feel. Trotter has that, and while he might be a little bit smaller, he is physical at the linebacker spot. And I'm excited now about this Eagles linebacking room for the first time in a long time with him, Devin White, and Nakobe Dean. Going to pick number 172, sticking in round 5 here, Trevor Keegan, Michigan. Started every game last year at guard, was a team captain for a team that won the national championship, and was a dominant offensive line unit. Has a lot of size, pulling ability. He got better in 2023. He was the number 1 overall high school recruit in the state of Illinois, and more than 100 schools came to his high school to recruit him. And Jim Harbaugh does a great job of valuing offensive linemen. Shoot, he called Joe Alt a weapon with the 5th overall pick, but he puts an onus on offensive line trench play, and that being a focal point of your entire team. And he does a good job of scouting that position. So Trevor Keegan has ability. Now, he didn't necessarily live up to being the number 1 player in the state of Illinois, but has a lot of experience, started a lot of games, and can refine his skills a little bit. Has a lot of size to play multiple positions along the offensive line. He's not a tackle, but Jeff Stoutland can bring the best out of the player. Now we shift gears to round 6, 185. Johnny Wilson, wide receiver out of Florida State. I'm going B here. He is 6'5", 6'6", 4.5 40-yard dash speed. He can climb the ladder. He looks like a power forward in football pads. You look at him and you're like, my goodness, what a physical freak. What a physical specimen. It'll make you get your Mando deodorant wipes out when you just see the athlete that he is. Unfortunately, he struggles to separate from time to time, gets a little bit sloppy with his routes, struggles with drops, and sometimes doesn't play up to his size. Can the Eagles tap into the player within there and bring a dog out in Johnny Wilson? Because if they do, round 6, with the player who gives them traits athletically that they don't currently have, jump ball, climb the ladder type of wide receiver, this could end up being a steal. And I'm talking a real steal. And then Dylan McMahon to round out our draft grades here. Round 6, 190, as Philadelphia did not have a 7th round pick. And I had him going to the Eagles in my final mock draft at 210. NC State can play center, can play guard, shorter arms, ran about a 5-second 40-yard dash at 298 pounds. He's smart. He's physical because he has those shorter arms. Sometimes larger defensive linemen can cause issues against him. And I'm not comparing him to Jason Kelce, but when Jason Kelce was coming out of Cincinnati, late round pick, well under 300 pounds, ran like a 4.9 40-yard dash, something in that neighborhood, getting out in space on those pull blocks. McMahon can do that really well, gets out of his stance really quickly and is fast and athletic and agile, a developmental backup center or interior offensive lineman that could show some promise for this organization here. So my overall draft grade for Philadelphia, clearly with everything I just said, I like what Howie Roseman did and accomplished here. B+ is my draft grade. You got good value. You got good players. You addressed areas of need. You took a couple of swings. You were aggressive. You traded up. You traded back. And now the Eagles, because of all these trades for Howie Roseman, he made 9 or 10 trades in the NFL draft. They're locked and loaded with a bevy of assets for the 2025 draft, in addition to a lot of cap space. Grade the Eagles 2024 NFL draft. B+ for me. What say you? Let's hear it. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to continue to provide you with some great content here on the show.